It goes without saying just really how proud of the effort we are, coaches and players. I think, we anytime we're going to conference play, homecoming, it was a huge day for us. And, it started defensively with just really something that we've been preaching a lot is takeaways, and getting the ball back. Obviously, anytime you can put that with 3 defensive scores, it doesn't really get much better than that. But I thought we had a really solid defensive day. Some things we still got to correct, but I think we played very well. Obviously, anytime you can score on defense, it's a big deal, and getting those takeaways. And we had multiple of those. Offensively, number one starts with protecting the football. It starts with protecting the football. I think going against a really good defense, we were still able to run the ball. We threw our controlled passes, and then we were able to take our deep shots and connect on those. Really had great pass protection all day. O-line, tight ends, running backs, blocked well, run game and pass protection. I thought Cody was very efficient, and as he's been the last few weeks, he's doing a really good job protecting the ball and getting the ball to the right receivers. Receivers are not only catching the ball, they're doing a good job blocking the perimeter. And then I thought our special teams were solid against a good special teams unit. I thought they were very solid, which is, it's what we expect out of them. They're doing a really good job. So really just a real complete win. Great to have it at home in front of our home crowd on homecoming. So really made it that much more special. Questions?
Coach, I'm sure you don't like to use terms like perfect, but as far as complete effort goes, is this up there with the most complete effort you've ever been associated with?
It is. I think it's one of the better efforts. I think that's kind of, somebody asked me right after the game, is that really unusual if you've never been around defense scoring a lot? And really, that's kind of what we had built our defense around at Proutle, where we really wanted to be aggressive and score on defense. And, we used to do that when we would get a takeaway. We would hold 5 fingers up. We wanted to score again in 5 minutes. We're not there defensively, but I think it's that mentality that we want to be aggressive to make things happen. We said great defense doesn't hurt our offense. They should go together. But it was overall, as you said, top to bottom, it's one of the best I've been around.
When it comes to Cody Clement's play, is it a comfort factor in the offense, or is it smart football, a combination of everything?
I think we have determined who we need to be. I think a few weeks ago we really had to do some self-analysis of who we are. I think we'd played some really good offense due to a bunch of circumstances in that game, that FIU game. I think we really went and really studied ourselves, and probably thanks to them, maybe him going out, during that game. But it really made us take a hard look at ourselves. We said we really want to be a tempo team, which we had done. We know we've got to run the ball. We know we've got to get the ball out of his hands in quick, effective throws. And then I think we're going to take our deep shots, and we've got to be able to hit those. So we've kind of been that team. I think we're really doing – I think our offensive staff is really doing the things for him that fit him well, whether it's nakeds or getting the ball out or whatever. So I think it's good coaching, and then I think our guys are understanding it. And some of that had to come back for how we practice. I think physicality-wise for our O-line, we've made a big decision that, during the week we've got to be physical with each other. And I think that's why we're running the ball well. I think we're protecting well. So I think it's a conglomeration effort.
So it's more of just basically, I guess, building the offense around the quarterback rather than maybe when you hear you're the guy, you're the number one guy, that probably makes some confidence that goes into it.
Right. I think so. And I think the fact that maybe, our spring wasn't totally like it needs to be because of lack of all of our parts. Maybe, it took us a while to see that. And he had to do some things better, and that didn't hurt him to be challenged, and I think he's responded very well to that.
You said after the game that you had to make some adjustments at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
But the two of the first defensive scores came in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Was that something that you had planned in terms of getting people in position for that to
Mm-hmm.
happen, or was that something that just happened?
Well, I think we came out Monday and we said, this is what we're doing. We felt really good. And I think when you can have a plan on Monday, you get to practice it all week and you get a chance to play really fast. They were pretty much who we thought they were early. They came and started really throwing the ball a little bit more. We had never seen what we call the smoke draw, where he sprints one way, and they put that in that game, so we had to make an adjustment to that. We started zone blitzing a little bit the second half, but somebody asked me about making adjustments, and really we had played really well defensively, but we, in any game you're going to make it. We never seen the smoke draw and a few of the empty plays they ran, so we made some adjustments to those at halftime, and you know. But, I mean, it's just the nature of offense. They're going to do things you never see. You know, and I'd say offense is, as from a defensive standpoint, you're going to make adjustments at half every week.
It seemed like they had an open spot in the first half where they could throw to somebody kind of 10, 20, 50, 20 yards down the field. So, and consistently hitting. And that play seemed to disappear in the second half.
Yeah, you know, and I think it's easy for us to stand here as bystanders and say, you know, there's a 15 to 20-yard window. And I know that's what you see from the stands, but, you know, when the quarterback runs a 4.5 40 and they're running zone read play after play, so you've got to get those things took care of first. Then all of a sudden they come to this other play. And what it was, they were getting it empty, no backs in the backfield. Hadn't seen a lot of that. And so what you have with tempo, sometimes you just have a standard adjustment. And you go get lined up because they're playing pretty fast, and all of a sudden they start dinking you. And then we adjusted to that look that we had not ever seen. And it's hard to adjust in the middle of a series. It really is. You know, I mean, you make your call or whatever, but as they play fast, they can find something and not ever get away from it till you can get to the sideline or to halftime. You know, I know offensively there's something else. You know, I think if you just want to think of a great offense, you're thinking of the same thing offensively. First, you got the quarterback who is unbelievably dynamic. You know, he's 6'1", 6'2", 210, and runs. You know, if you thought of how, you know, I thought the guy last week ran good. This guy probably runs better. I mean, he truly has got sprinter speed. You know, he wears number 2, so he's, I guess, emulating Manziel, and he looks like that. I mean, he can stay alive, good arm. You know, huge O-line. It's really physical, nasty kind of guys. They're running backs, run the ball hard, and then they've got all these weapons offensively. And then they're like us. I mean, you know, of the last 5 games, 390-something snaps. So, you know, somewhere around 80 snaps a game with tempo. So they're a little bit different than Western Kentucky in that their quarterback was not a runner. He was just super accurate. But it starts with their offense. But I think if we just looked at defensive personnel, I mean, they're going to be as good as anybody. And so, you know, I don't want to take away from their defense to say, you know, they don't have a good defense, but I think some of that, once again, 80 snaps a game probably puts them out there more, which creates more chances for offense. But I know they're really good offense, but I think they're solid defensively and special teams. You know, no one we're going to try and keep them out of the red zone, but you knew that was coming. But, you know, I think what happens, I think, when you've got a quarterback who can run the ball, and I mean really run it, as I say, it's like playing against 12 guys. You know, because if you don't cover down on these receivers, we're going to give it to them. Okay, you got a good running game, just pure with just good running backs, okay? Multiple formations, tempo. Oh, by the way, this guy can take off and beat you with his legs. You know, it's just super tough, and I think as they get down there, he can run more, and so you add that mix to it. So, you know, a lot of times I don't know why teams are good in the red zone, but you know, we talked about last week. If you keep doing, you know, you got that package. But I think anybody that's got a quarterback that can truly run, that's that element that's just, I mean, it's so hard to defend.
I think that team that hasn't had a lot of success, and now they're having success. How do you balance kind of letting them enjoy it, but also keep them focused on the next game, or is that more of a rely on more of the leaders on the team?
Well, you know, we talk to our leaders, and I think, you know, that's a constant. You know, I'm constantly talking to our seniors to explain to everybody else, I don't have another year. You know, I was talking to my son about that. He's a senior in high school, and I said, you know, that's your job to say, this is my last year. I need you to come on. You've got another year, but I don't. You know, that's what a senior does. But it is our job to let them understand it's a 24-hour rule of, man, that was great, or that was bad. You know, either one. We got to move on. And I think our guys are starting to get that. I think that's probably what we saw Saturday. I think we did the best about eliminating distractions. We did the best about honing in. We did the best, you know. So every week I try and say, okay, this is something we've had an issue with. How do we fix it? Maybe not even major to somebody else, but it was major to me. But it's so much about focus. I think our guys are super hungry. So as we said before, it's all about this game. It's all about what we do this week. It's nothing about anybody else. And if we do that, we got a chance. So good question.
I think Middle Tennessee might be one of the last teams in America to have a
Yes.
Is there a fatigue factor you take a look at? Is there something possible you can exploit?
You know, I think for them, you know, you hate it for them because we know how tough that is, you know. But at the same time, I don't see them. You know, their quarterback's still there. Their running backs are all still there. I think they got 2 guys back last week. I know they got a DB back. So you know, sometimes there's a lot of luck involved. You know, probably mentally fatigued. I would say for sure they are. But I don't know that there's, you know, injuries would be the biggest thing I would say if, you know, it looks like it's all the same guys against Marshall. Plus they got some guys back, so it looks like they're handling it pretty well.
Anything else for Coach? All right.
Okay, thank you guys.